Welcome to the Ecommerce Marketing Podcast, the highly rated digital marketing podcast that provides weekly digital marketing tips and strategies from some of the world's top digital marketers and e-commerce entrepreneurs that will help you take your digital marketing to the next level. Sit back and enjoy this power-packed episode hosted by Arlen Robinson, who is an e-commerce entrepreneur and digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience. Hey, e-commerce marketing podcast listener. Are you looking to increase traffic and sales to your website? You can do this by launching your own affiliate program. Just visit getosi.com and sign up for a free trial today. That's getosi.com. Now get ready to hear from your e-commerce marketing expert of the week as they drill down to give you details on marketing strategies that can help grow your business.
Welcome to the podcast, Cesar.
Thank you very much for the time and the opportunity to share our project. So thank you.
Yes, no problem. It's a pleasure having you on, and really excited to talk to you today because when we were talking prior to the recording, the discussion for today is we're going to be talking about the use of WhatsApp and how businesses can use WhatsApp, that application, to grow their business and to reach a kind of a broader global marketplace. And so WhatsApp is definitely something that's really growing. It's grown quite a bit over the past few years. And, I'm not that familiar with it myself, so I know you're going to enlighten us as well as our listeners. But before we dive deep into WhatsApp and the whole app itself, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your background and, specifically how you got into what you're doing today?
Yes, this is the typical story of creating websites for clients. We were working with WordPress, Drupal mainly, and the reason we end up doing this module was because the email forms were lacking performance. Like our clients were suffering somehow the spam, the bots that flood your inbox with nonsense emails, forms that you don't want to receive. And what happens is we start to add a WhatsApp button to those websites for our clients, and the performance change dramatically.
Wow.
There are two reasons. The users are in the phone. Users are no longer checking websites with their computers. They are using their phones.
Right.
And when they are checking with the phone, what they want to do is a quick check with you, are you open? Are you available? How much is it? Do you have this option? Can I talk with you? They want this quick interaction. And in WhatsApp, there is no spam. At the moment, we can say. And it's a beautiful channel for those users. So we decide to, start working on the product, and we create a widget and then other options, and that's how we end up doing a chat with.
Okay, that's awesome. Great story. Thank you for sharing that. And your whole transition to creating this app for WhatsApp is kind of a similar story that I have with my company, OSI Affiliate Software. We started off kind of way back in the day. We've been around for a long time. In the year 2000, we started as a full service web development agency, developing custom websites on a variety of platforms, PHP websites, custom e-commerce applications. We did that for several years. And then we got to the point where we kind of saw some needs in the marketplace for some core functionality. And then that's kind of how our affiliate software was birthed. We had some other solutions at that time, but now our affiliate software is our main tool. So kind of similar background where we came from kind of a full service web development background and then create the creation of an app and then, as a SaaS product. So, I'm very familiar with your whole process, your whole journey that you guys have been through.
Exactly. I think it's very important for entrepreneurs is to, to feel the pain of your customers. If you really feel the pain and you can find a solution and then create a product or a company after that, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yes, definitely, for sure. Well, great, Cesar. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. Where I want to start off with is, for our listeners that may not be familiar with WhatsApp, even though it is pretty hot, it's still, certain areas people may not have used it or not too familiar with it. Why don't you enlighten us on exactly what the tool is? How does it work?
WhatsApp is a messaging platform, super basic in terms of functionality. I mean, it's like mainly send a message to someone with your phone. That's it. It's not like a WeChat. WeChat is the Chinese version, and it's a super app. You can do everything with WeChat, but WhatsApp is still a very simple, easy to use messaging platform.
Gotcha.
The reason is super popular outside the US is because the SMS was very expensive everywhere else. In the US, it's true that it's been free almost forever, but outside the US was very expensive to send an SMS. So WhatsApp being free become a tsunami for everyone. No? Everyone was very happy to use like free SMS with a simple app. So Europe is very big with WhatsApp, India, Asia, Africa, South America. Those are countries where you can reach 80-90% WhatsApp penetration. And in total, you have something like 2 billion users. Okay, wow. So it's a nice marketplace. I will think it's worth considering the channel. Right. Because you have a ton of users. I mean, for B2C brands, I will say it's something you need to consider working on.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, 2 billion is not small. That's nothing to sneeze at for sure. Yeah. So, I didn't really realize how big of a market it is. And it makes sense with what you said as far as the SMS being costly other places overseas. I guess here in the US, we kind of take it for granted where SMS has been free. These days, most mobile phone plans, these days for as long as I can remember have come with kind of unlimited text messaging. And it's usually not an issue to be able to send and receive text messages. We don't even think about it. I mean, there was a point maybe, I think maybe 15 or so years ago when there was, costs for, sending messages. You kind of had to buy chunks at a time and associate those with your plan. And if you hit your limit, you would get overage fees. But yeah, those days are long over. So I can see how other markets needed another type of solution for the communication outside of SMS. So definitely makes sense. Now, in your opinion, why do you really see this whole WhatsApp as the ultimate marketplace for, specifically service-based businesses? And, how would a typical service-based business utilize it?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I think it's part of why we are working on this product. No, we think there are two marketplaces. No, you can use Amazon if you sell, point and click products like shoes, boxes, beds, something that is easy to understand, very little configuration, and you have a brand behind it. So that's Amazon is the perfect marketplace for that. If you're selling a service, and that means hours, by demand, knowledge, consultancy, advice, raw materials, things that are complex, you need some interaction with the vendor. We think WhatsApp is the ultimate marketplace for those guys. I mean, we see amazing things in our channels, like fruit and vegetable. You can see amazing deals going through WhatsApp. Raw material, education, auto, cosmetic and beauty is huge. Real estate is huge. Those are services categories, where you need to talk with someone. Those categories are never going to end up in Amazon. There is no feed for those. So you are going to need something where you can chat with your customer real time, personalized, not as formal as email, because we see email as a legacy product, especially for young people and older people. People over 50, I will say they are out of email, and the millennials, they don't understand the subject, no, the
Right.
I mean that structure is like 1900s, no, like
Sure.
dear Mr. No, I
Mhm.
mean now you need to to quickly get to the point. Hey, can you help me? Yes. When we can meet? Can we make an appointment? Can we do a booking? Can you pay me? That is happening real time in a chat conversation in WhatsApp for those markets, no? And that's the reason we are focused on services, because we
Okay.
think it's a huge opportunity, and we are focused on the small segment of the market. I mean, we try to work with small companies,
Mhm.
because for big companies there are other solutions like Intercom, Zendesk, where you can chat, but it's a
Mhm.
more structured and more corporate, let's say, tools, no? or something like that.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. That actually kind of brought up my next question that I was thinking about, as far as when you're looking at WhatsApp compared to some of these other solutions, because these days there's a ton of these chat tools, and including we even have the Facebook Messenger, you have, like you said, Intercom, and then just like a million other chat tools that you can easily, throw in your site to be able to facilitate that conversation. Um, what's what's the kind of, I guess you could say, the value proposition for with WhatsApp as opposed to some of these other tools? Why would one go with WhatsApp?
Yeah, that's another super good question, and the reason we choose to work with WhatsApp or around WhatsApp, the main reason is one is the user. The moment the user jumps to WhatsApp, is a real user. I mean,
Okay.
in a web chat, you don't know who is the other person, and if you request email, name, etc. upfront, people sometimes lie, cheat, they give you fake information. So it's not a very nice trust channel to get, especially B2C. No, we are thinking always B2C. You need to get the real user, no, the faster the better. No, you need to get the real number, the real person, and that is with one click in WhatsApp. No, the moment the user jumps to WhatsApp, you have their phone number, their name, more information, and it's real information. No, the second is security. WhatsApp is a fantastic tool. Web chats. Sometimes you cannot add attachments, you cannot add files, you cannot add a photo, you cannot add a video, and it's because security, no, because you can hack the platform, no. With WhatsApp, all that is covered. So the same security is fantastic. And at the end of the day, is what I said, no, you have the real contact. So in the first moment the user jumps to WhatsApp, you have the contact. So you can follow on, do callbacks, you can call the guy after the chat. You have the person in your phone. So that's really valuable.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because I know with a lot of these other tools, it requires you to, you put in the name, you put in the email address. And in these days, a lot of people don't want to give away their email. They get tons of spam. So a lot of times people just put garbage information. They might not even put their real name, because, they just want to ask a quick question. And then your support people or your salespeople on the other end, you still have to respond to it. They still take time. And then it becomes kind of a, unfortunately, after the conversation, you're kind of lost there. It's like a useless lead there because you don't have the valid info. And I see with WhatsApp, I can imagine, since I guess there's a verification once you get the app and then create your profile. It has to be a real number, I would imagine.
Correct. That's and it's the same. I think Intercom, these web chats are very good for B2B, corporate, or big companies. Excellent. But B2C services, I think the way to go is with WhatsApp. I think it's more efficient.
Gotcha. Now you kind of spoke about how a company would use it with regards to, inbound marketing. You get somebody that comes to the site, they have some questions, they jump on the WhatsApp, communicate with them, you immediately get their information, their number, you can follow up with them after that. What are some other ways, what are some ways that it can be utilized, this whole WhatsApp marketplace? How could it be used for just straight out outbound marketing, kind of reaching people that are within this, 2 billion person network, I guess you could say. How would you utilize it that way?
Yeah, correct. That's yeah. I mean, the opportunity out there is huge. So you need to be very precise on your target. No, I mean, when you have 2 billion users, you need to be really precise and like really focus on who you want to work with.
Yeah.
And one tool that we love is WhatsApp groups. WhatsApp groups are fantastic, like forums to discuss topics. You can find ton of WhatsApp groups out there, and you can just get into the group and start the conversation.
Okay.
We have groups where we have a waiting list to get into the group, no, because the quality is so good and the users we have is so good in terms of doing real transactions or sharing real knowledge that we have waiting lists, no, because the groups are limited to 256 users. So it's not like a huge group of users, but if you narrow to quality users, you're going to have a nice group. So WhatsApp groups is one tool. Another is sending out messages to your users. I mean, if you have a database with our tool, you can upload your contacts and you can send messages to those users.
Okay.
What you need to do, I mean, and mailing list, MailChimp, you are happy if you get 15% open rate, and okay, we accept that as something good or normal, but you can achieve 80-90 with a WhatsApp campaign.
Wow,
because the channel is not saturated, and if you do things right, like a welcome message, like, hey, we are going to use this channel to talk with you, we want to share with you some information, and after that you start building your relation with your customers. That's something you can do completely from our platform. And that's it. Is recover contact with your customers. No, that's what you can do with WhatsApp.
That's very interesting. Now, as far as that outbound, let's say you kind of described an outbound messaging campaign. Are you able to just message anyone, or how does that work? How do you obtain lists, and do you have to have authorization? Is it like opting in, or how does it work?
Well, all based on the location of the company and customers. You can have different GDPR policies or data privacy policies. So all depends of your location, customer list, etc. If the customer has, opt-in for communications with you, you can start a WhatsApp. The same quality is very important. So you need to reach customers who know you. If you have a ton of spam or blocks from the users, WhatsApp can terminate your number. So that's something that you need to be very careful. And we always, try to emphasize that aspect with our customers. No, like, do not send spam. Doesn't make sense. No one is happy with the spam. So build a relation, build something that makes sense, and the customer will be happy.
Okay, so I see. So it is similar to email in the sense that, you can mail out, but it's if you do get too many blocks in this case, then that can, be a detriment to you. You can be canceled from the whole platform if you get a certain amount. I see. So I see you have to be careful. You can't just kind of go in there and say, oh, wow, I've got 2 billion people at my disposal. I'm just going to go to town with this. It's not that easy. I see.
Yeah. Another option that we see more often is to use the WhatsApp button in your campaigns. You can use that in, YouTube, Google ads, Facebook ads, Twitter ads. I mean, you can use it everywhere. And we think it's a good option. Maybe it's a bit uncontrolled, the flow you are going to get. Like you can get, we see campaigns with, 2,000 customers going to your landing page or WhatsApp number or whatever. So you need to be really careful, or you need to have the agents to manage the flow. No, that's everything up to the company. But it's something you can do very nicely.
So if you, to kind of go to that example, if you're using the WhatsApp button in the bottom of your emails, also maybe in your Google ad campaigns, that's of course giving you more exposure, giving people another channel to communicate with your company. But when they're clicking on that, are they, and forgive me, are they kind of opting in to receiving messaging from you, or that's not even necessary? They can just straight communicate. There's no really opt-in process.
If you want to do it, you can do it. I mean, this is the same. It's all based on your policy or legislation. I mean, if you need to do that, you can add a first message like welcome. We are going to save your information in our database, so please accept that to continue this conversation. This is all based on your legislation, user base, etc. We see a bit of everything, but yeah,
that makes sense. So it's not really a restriction within the app. It just depends on your local, rules and laws with regards to, contacting people. If they're requiring that, you have them get prior authorization, get them to opt in, then you may have to do that. Otherwise, you can just straight communicate with them. If they click on that button and they start communicating with them, you can keep it going. You could send them a WhatsApp, maybe your staff talks to them right when they click that button, but then maybe a week later, you could go ahead and send them an announcement saying, okay, we're offering a discount for, a holiday discount, whatever it is. And there's no restrictions on doing something like that.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah. That's completely normal. So that's what our clients are doing.
Gotcha. Now with WhatsApp, I know everything is kind of revolved around this, the mobile app, the mobile technology. Is there a web interface for communication as well, or is everything straight through mobile devices?
Yeah, I mean the 2 billion users, 98% are in the mobile app. But
Gotcha.
For companies or agents or call centers, you can have a desktop application. So you can have a more integrated application that also connects with your CRM, IRPs, you name it. No, I mean that's something that also is happening. There are more enterprise solutions. We work with a company called Rocket Chat that is very nice, and they have an open source solution. And also, there are other companies like, for example, Yellow Chat is very well known. Callbell is very well known. There are a few companies who give you, like this enterprise interface. No, like you can add or your agent, you can add, teams or scheduling, etc. So you can manage the inflow of customers with WhatsApp, with a team that connects in one number, and everything is synchronized. So I mean those are things you can do. The same, no? The higher you go into the segment, the pricier everything becomes. Like solutions can be, end up in 1,000 per month, 5,000 per month, things like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. As far as, and I get that from the user's perspective, most users are going to be communicating, if I'm a consumer, just using the mobile app. And then from the business's side, they're going to have more of these enterprise tools where their agents aren't, they're not all using the cell phones. They have the web interface. So I see that makes a lot of sense with regards to that. Now, you as we get ready to wrap things up, you did kind of mention some of those companies that are using the app and kind of how their perspective is from the enterprise side and how they're communicating it with it. But if you don't mind sharing some examples of some other businesses that you may be familiar with that are using WhatsApp in general to, kind of grow their business, foster more engagement with their customers, and kind of what specific things have they done with regards to maybe different campaigns or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, we have more than 500,000 companies using our solution. So we have a good number of use cases all over the world. I mean, like companies everywhere. And we are always super happy to see like real examples, no, like how small companies can succeed in the channel. No, education is a beautiful channel. Education, like everything, universities, academies, individual teachers, those guys have a super nice opportunity in WhatsApp because your customer is already a WhatsApp user. So education, fantastic. Everything about training, coaching, advice, can be sports trainer, a mentor, a coach to do whatever. The same, these guys have a fantastic opportunity in WhatsApp, no? Because you need this relation that is not, it's not a point and click, no? I need to talk with you. I need to be with you. We need to stay in touch. And that's something that WhatsApp is going to help you a lot. Another segment we love is auto, everything, garage, spare parts, dealers. That's a fantastic segment. And that segment is mainly WhatsApp. No, the guys selling things, they don't go to the computer. No, they are in the field and they need to do everything on the phone. And WhatsApp is the channel for them.
Okay.
And finally, there is a channel, a segment that is also very good is real estate. No, real estate, the same. We love it. We see amazing WhatsApp profiles of realtors doing beautiful profiles, beautiful catalogs inside WhatsApp to get everything done there. And the same, these guys, what they do all day, talk with someone, no? They chat with someone who is looking to rent, to buy, to share, do whatever. So in all these segments, we are seeing amazing things being done. People is super creative the moment they have the tools. And there is plenty of opportunities to move from physical to digital, with WhatsApp, and we can help you, all over the place.
Gotcha. Yeah, thank you for sharing those use cases and those different types of companies. Yeah, I can definitely see how the real estate would be really big on that. Yeah. I'm gonna have to look. I kind of stay up on all things real estate here in the Orlando, Florida area myself. But I'm just trying to think. I don't know if I've seen, maybe it's just I hadn't noticed, but I hadn't seen too many realtors on this end with the profiles. But then again, I'm not, well, after this conversation, I'm definitely going to be all in on WhatsApp. But prior to this, I hadn't been too much in it. So I can definitely see how that could be very useful for, realtors, because it's that communication, and then people are out looking at houses, things like that, and they want to be able to reach them and, ask questions, things like that. Chat, the WhatsApp becomes a great ability for them to do that, especially if they don't necessarily, have that person's, phone number right away, and they just want to quickly dialogue with them.
Exactly. That's the use case.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, that's good stuff, Cesar. I definitely learned a lot. Like I said, after this conversation, I'm going to be all in. I'm grabbing my cell phone now, and I'm about to install the WhatsApp application myself, and kind of figure out how it can be a benefit to our business for sure. And I'm definitely talk to some of our team members, because actually I think we have members all over the world now, and I know some of our other team members are on WhatsApp. So I'm going to have to kind of pick their brain a little bit about it, about how we can implement some of its tools and functionality to reach and engage with more customers or potential customers on our end. So yeah, thank you for sharing. And lastly, before we let you go, as my listeners always know, I like to switch things up and ask one kind of final fun fact questions. If you don't mind sharing one closing fun fact about yourself that you think our audience would be interested to know.
Well, honestly, there is not much. I have 2 kids. I ran a marathon once. That was my achievement. And what I really like doing is this. I'm happy every day because I do what I really like, and I enjoy helping all these businesses all over the world, and we are super happy and grateful about the thing we are building. And, it's not like we see, well, sometimes we see crazy stuff, but it's more about, people really looking for basic things, no, like love, no. We see a ton. I mean, dating. We didn't talk about dating, but that's the unicorn. I mean, if we nail that one, this will become a unicorn, no. But dating is a huge category, no, and as you can imagine, in WhatsApp you can see plenty of profiles looking for love. So.
Right, I can imagine. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, definitely now I see that's a perfect platform for that.
Yeah, and yeah, we see very nice people all over the world, trying to just making a living, reaching customers, selling what they really love and like, and we are super happy doing this, and we are super happy to share our project with you, and to get more people on board. That will be fantastic.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that, Cesar. I appreciate that. Also, thank you for joining us. Lastly, before we let you go, if any of our listeners want to reach out to you and get a hold of you, pick your brain any more about WhatsApp and how it can help their business, what's the best way for them to reach you?
WhatsApp, of course. and we will share a link, if it's okay with you, that where people can just click and go to my WhatsApp and we can chat there. That's the way to go. If not, the website is chatwith.io.
Okay, gotcha. Chatwith.io. Well, great, Cesar. Thank you. We'll have that link in the show notes as well as on our website transcript, and we'll try to add a button for the WhatsApp as well, so people can click on that and communicate with you directly for sure.
Exactly.
Well, awesome, Cesar. Well, it's definitely been a pleasure talking to you. I appreciate you coming on, and yes, thank you for joining us today on the E-commerce Marketing Podcast.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share it with everyone you know. Are you looking to take your digital marketing to the next level but are tired of weeding through countless YouTube videos with unproven and untrusted marketing strategies? Well, we have the answer for you. The More Sales Every Month online digital marketing course. In this information-packed course, you will learn effective keyword research, link building, content marketing, and much more to attract and convert your site visitors into paying customers. Just go to moresaleseverymonth.com and sign up today for a low one-time fee. In addition to this power-packed course, if you would like to get access to a growing repository of digital marketing articles, PDFs, and ebooks, check out getosi.com/resources and opt in to get full access to our library of priceless marketing information to help you take your digital marketing to the next level.